Hey guys, Two-Time Marine here. This video is a little special. We're doing an interview with a Marine who just graduated boot camp. He followed my videos and stuff on YouTube and then contacted me and requested to have an interview and kind of just answer some questions about it. So if you want to introduce yourself.
My name is PFC Knose, and I graduated boot camp October 11th.
All right. So just so you guys know, I have about 15 or so questions for him that I made up, or that I came up with, rather, and figure we'll just dive right into those. So where'd you go to boot camp at?
I went to boot camp in Parris Island, South Carolina.
And so when would you have left for boot camp then?
July 15th, I shipped out for boot camp. That's when I actually flew down. July 14th is when you go up to MEPS, and you spend your night at the hotel at the MEPS that night, and then on a plane the next day, or bus, depending on how close you live.
Okay. How was the weather there? It's probably pretty humid, I imagine.
It stayed humid for a while. Supposedly it was a cooler summer compared to last year. So the weather was hot and humid and sticky for a while, but towards the end of September, it started to cool down a lot.
It was kind of the same for me when I was in boot camp too. Because I got there in June, and so I graduated in September. But it started to get pretty, not chilly necessarily, but definitely a lot colder.
Yeah, at night for us, if we left the portholes open, it got pretty cold in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being on Parris Island is definitely a different experience in San Diego. If you do get stationed on the West Coast, you'll have to go to the training depot in San Diego so you can kind of see what the West Coast guys do with. What's that?
Unless you're a female, all females go to Parris Island.
Yeah, that they do. All right, let's see. If you could explain your experience in one word for boot camp, what do you think it would be?
In one word, I'd probably say challenging.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Let's see. I'm looking at my phone for my email because my phone sucks. Let's see. Can you give us a rundown of boot camp? Just kind of your overall experience, from day one to when you graduated, just kind of things that stuck out to you.
Well, when you first get there, you arrive on a bus, slightly confused because you're nervous as all hell. You get off the bus, and then you immediately go into the yellow footprints, and you go through the silver hatches, and then you go through receiving. But when you get there that night, I arrived at like 8 o'clock at night. We arrived really early. But you don't sleep until Tuesday. So you get there Monday night, and they keep you up all night issuing all your gear. You get a sea bag full of all your camis. You put on a pair of camis, then you get issued your Go Fasters, which is your running shoes. All your boots go in the sea bag, and then you sit in this classroom, in the wing of the receiving building forever. They come in, tell you to do something, you cut web belts, and you just sit there, and then if you fall asleep, they yell at you. So the first week is pretty hectic because they're trying to break you down from being a civilian to some form of a recruit. So that first week it sucks a lot. You're wearing the same clothes every day. They don't allow you to change out of your clothes. Like your skivvy shorts and skivvy shirts, you put that stuff on over and over and over again. And since it was July, you're sweating constantly. So you would hygiene at night and then immediately put on the same clothes, same socks, everything. But after that first week, that Saturday, you meet your drill instructors. And that is called Forming Day 1, I believe. Forming Day 1, or maybe it's the Monday after. It's Forming Day 1. And that's when your drill instructors really start to break down you as a person. First phase is probably the worst phase of boot camp. It's the screaming of knowledge, the breaking of habits, like not touching your face, which is hugely important, actually. Everything you do at boot camp is going to be based around something. They don't have you do nothing just for nothing. everything has a reason. So they don't want you to touch your face because they don't want you getting your fingers in your eye and getting sick. Like we had like 5 cases of pink eye because kids kept touching their eyes. You're taking kids all over the East Coast and bringing them into one room. There was 81 of us. We graduated with 81. You can't bring all those people in and not have illnesses go around. So phase 1 sucks because you're sick. And their drill instructors are the hardest on you then. Phase 2 is when you start to get in like the real fun kind of training. After you do swim week, you go into like grass week and range week. Table 1 firing is all in there. It's a lot of fun. You feel like you're starting to actually like learn stuff that a Marine would learn. Drill instructors, they still yell at you a lot, and you get IT'd more. But they're starting to allow you to have some liberties, a little bit of leniency because they can trust you. They have more responsibility to see how you handle it. Table 1 firing was fun. Table 2 is where it's at though. Table 2 is a lot of fun with shooting like 25 meters and stuff like that.
Can you explain the difference between Table 1 and Table 2 for them?
Yeah, Table 1 firing is all distance marksmanship, where you have you have on the first day of firing on Table 1, you shoot 100 yards zero wing, and then you move back to the 200-yard line and you shoot your standing, sitting, and kneeling. You shoot those. You have 20 minutes to shoot 5 rounds in each position. You don't shoot prone at the 200. And then you go back to the 300, and then you shoot sitting, and then a rapid fire prone, and then you go back to the 500 and shoot prone 10 rounds at the 500-yard line. So it's all about distance and accuracy on Table 1. Now Table 2 is all about speed. It's you're shooting 25 yards at 2 targets. There's a left and a right target, and it's all about you have like 3 seconds to shoot. They can control pair standing, which is 2 shots in the chest, and then a failure to stop drill, which is 2 shots to the chest, 1 shot to the pelvis, and then box drills, which you go around to the left target, the right target, and then transition between targets, and then reloads. And the last drill you do is a speed reload, going from like standing to kneeling. You change positions and stuff like that, and then you move back to the 100-yard line, and you do you shoot moving targets. You shoot like 10 shots at moving targets.
Awesome. Yeah, we started doing that in the fleet before I got out, but we never did any Table 2 stuff while I was in boot camp, so that's cool. They added that in. And to go off that, do you use ACOGs now, right?
Yeah, we use the RCOs, the Trajicon ACOGs with the 4x optic, with the BDC in it, which is a bullet drop compensator. So you don't, on Table 1, you don't do any sort of adjustments to the scope. Once you find your zero at 100-yard lines, it's all about Kentucky windage from there, where you just adjust based on wind where you need to aim, and then the R lines are marked out where you need to aim with the tip of the chevron, the crotch of the chevron, or the tip of the red post and stuff like that.
Do you do anything with the iron sights anymore, or they completely don't have those?
No, you use the M16A4 now, which has the removable carry handle. So we had the carry handle on there up until Table 1. And as soon as we got to Grass Week, we went to the Armory and they switched out our carry handles for RCOs. And then we had the RCOs from there on boot camp. You have the RCO from then until you return the weapon.
Okay, excellent. All right, so then after Grass Week and then your qualifications, what happened?
After Grass Week, you move into Team Week, where it's pretty much free labor for the base. And there's always going to be recruits on Team Week. So you go to like the laundry, and you have recruits that are going to be washing all the sheets or the bags of laundry that you turn in. You have recruits that will go to like the all-weather training facility, or they'll clean around there. You have them go to all the battalion headquarters and clean around there. You have them go to the chow hall, they clean around there. There's a thing called bucket issue, where recruits will go when you first get in receiving. You're going to see recruits that are on team week, and they're going to be issuing all your gear. Like, you're going to be handing you all of your assault pack, your LE packs, your ISO mats, your Kevlar, stuff like that. And then for me, what I ended up getting selected for was the visitor center. I went and cleaned at the visitor center, you police call around there, and it was cool because the guys there were cool enough where we finished early and everything was done right, so they let us just sit on the couches and hang out for a little bit.
Nice.
And then we moved to, a few of us got selected to go to this, what an MCCS one source is? They had like family member thing where it's like, it's this building, these people that would help family members like adjust to either Marine Corps life, or it was things to help Marine Corps families connect with each other and stuff like that. A few of us got selected to go. 3 of us were selected to go over there, and the ladies that worked there were super cool, and we just kind of hung out, sat in office chairs, went outside by the water, and not pretended, but we picked up their garden, clean outside and stuff like that. So team week is pretty much a huge decompression. It's 5 days. I mean, people are going to stay back at the house, and it's going to suck because you're with the drill instructors all day. But team week is just a big decompression, unless you stuck at the house. And that's like, we had a drill instructor that was like 5'2", and he would have his fun. He had his fun during team week, taking kids out of the sandpit and touring them around every single deck.
Yeah, I've been there.
I should probably say that I was in 1st Battalion Alpha Company, and our barracks were moved to the range. I lived on the range the entire time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was Delta Company out there, and then Delta Company got in trouble, so they moved Delta where Alpha Company was staying, and Alpha Company went out to the range. So my chow hall was the Weapons and Field Training Battalion chow hall and all that. But after team week, it's BWT week. It's BWT and table 2 firing. Unlike table 1, where you have an entire week to shoot and then qual on Friday, table 2 is, I believe, 3 days. You have 1 day of class instruction, 1 day of practice, and then the 3rd day is your pre-qual and qual. And that's to fit in.
Squeeze it in there, huh?
Yeah, because they need to fit in both lead series and follow series. All 6 platoons need to go during that week. And you only have 1 range to do it on.
Yeah, makes sense.
And there's only 50 target points. I mean, it goes by quick. You're only on the line. You shoot 50 rounds in like 3 minutes, and you're done. But while lead series was doing table 2 firing, follow series was doing BWT.
Oh, okay.
And then they flipped it, where once we were done with table 2, we went to BWT, and follow series went and did table 2. So after that, you then go into admin week. And admin week is where you go and you pretty much fill out a bunch of paperwork. And it's another, I don't want to say easy week, because no week is ever easy, but it's a more relaxed week where you're not out doing a lot of physical exercise. By phase 3, everything is pretty relaxed. Where you're given more response, you're trusted with more, but if you fail at what you're trusted with, you pay a higher price for it because you're expected to do what you're told. Mm-hmm. So like in drill and stuff like that at Alpha Company, I don't know why, we drilled forever. If we messed up, we would get taken to the house and have to, we would get slaved for a while. Because one kid didn't want to pivot on the right footer and something like that. And then after admin week, it's Crucible week. Once you go through Crucible week, the beginning of it is fairly easy. It's just kind of like people building up for it. You get ready for the Crucible. And then Thursday at 2 in the morning, you wake up and you step out and you go all day Thursday, all day Friday, and then Saturday, you wake up at, I think it's 2 again, 2 or 4. You go to bed, you only get 4 hours of sleep. So we went to bed at midnight and woke up at 4. It's only for the crucibles when you get 4 hours of sleep a night. Every other night you get 8 hours. So we woke up at 4 and we have a 9-mile hike to the parade deck. And then you have your Eagle of an Acre ceremony that morning, and then the Warriors breakfast. And then you go back to the house and you start getting all your gear ready for your initial turn-in. And then the next week is Marine Week, where you turn in all your gear, turn in your rifle, and then every day pretty much practice for graduation and family day. And then Thursday rolls around, and you have family day. You see your family. Well, no, actually, back up a little bit. The Sunday after the Crucible is Liberty Sunday, where you can go to the MCX and buy whatever you want, those energy drinks you've been craving all for the past 3 months, all that candy and stuff everyone wanted, pizza, phone calls home if you can get a phone card, or the Navy Federal was giving out free phone calls. Free 5-minute phone calls. You go Navy Federal for that. And then you have Marine Week. Family Day, you get to see your family pretty much go wherever you want on base. And that's like, was it from 10:30 till 1500, I believe.
Oh, nice. You get 5 hours.
Yeah, I believe it was till 3. We had Family Day. I mean, they want you back there at like 2:45, 2:30, just because you need to be. When they say 15 minutes early, it means 5 minutes before that. So you get there as soon as possible. And then we had grad practice immediately after. So you still see your families. Your families can actually start coming onto the base on Wednesday, and they can watch you do grad practice and stuff like that. And then Friday, you graduate, and by 10 o'clock, you're out of there. You're free to go. Your senior drill instructor will dismiss you, and that's the last order you hear from your drill instructor. And then you go on. You go back to your squad bay, pick up your bags, and you're free to do whatever you want.
Excellent. So, all right. So, what did you think of your drill instructors? Did you have you probably had about 3?
I had 5.
You had 5. Yeah.
5 drill instructors. I had my senior drill instructor. I had my heavy drill instructor. Then we had our knowledge hat, and then 2 kill hats.
Oh, they added a knowledge hat, huh?
Yeah, the knowledge hat was the 3rd hat. The 3rd hat was the knowledge one. He was considered a kill hat too, because he would IT, he would get in your face and all that. But he was the only one that ever taught us knowledge.
Oh, fair enough.
The only reason we had 5 was because we picked up one, and it was his first cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just there for his first cycle. I mean, in Alpha Company, I believe there was 3 or 4 platoons that had 5 drill instructors total, and then some had 4 or 3.
Yeah, I ended up going through. We had 4 normally, but we had a 5th one for a little bit until he got in trouble. But then he got sent to the swim tank. What would you consider the most difficult part of boot camp, at least for you?
For me, the most difficult part. I mean, there's more annoying parts. I didn't find all that difficult. I mean, the most difficult part is probably the Crucible, just because it's as difficult as you make it. Because you can kind of skate through the Crucible with your squad that you're with, and you don't really put out, and you can still graduate, or you can put out and try hard and everything, and feel like you've earned your title at the end of it. I made sure I put out as much as I could, and I was tired, really tired. It's 56 hours or 54 hours. And you sleep for 8 hours during that, so you're tired because you're constantly moving. You're hiking. You hike like 50K in those 54 hours. But like the most annoying part of boot camp was probably the hurrying up and waiting somewhere, and then standing there and screaming knowledge. Just standing and screaming knowledge forever, waiting for buses to show up or whatever.
Yeah, and trust me, that's not going to change when you get to the fleet either.
Well, the hurry up and wait, yeah, I wasn't expecting that change, but I hope I don't stand there and scream knowledge.
No, I mean they'll probably do that or make you do that in ITB, but I mean when you get to the fleet, that won't be the case.
Yeah.
At least yelling it. You'd have to have some really pissed off NCOs if you're having you scream knowledge. What would you consider the easiest part of it? Like where maybe other kids had difficulty and you?
Easiest part for me was probably actually handling the drill instructors. If you go in with the mindset that you know you're going to get screamed at, and just to stay calm during the chaos, because there's going to be times where you're going to have like other drill instructors from other decks come onto your deck, and with your drill instructors, and it's completely mess up your house. Start flipping racks, emptying foot lockers out, and kids will start freaking out where they don't know what to do. They shut down. And for me, it was very easy to cope with the amount of stress they were trying to put through it, and just understand that they're doing it to create a stressful environment to freak people out. So I was very capable of handling the stress and then just working within that stressful environment where I didn't get freaked out, where if a drill instructor was screaming in my face, I didn't stop what I was doing to turn towards him and scream back at him. I just kept doing what I was doing and what I was told to do at that time. I didn't pause or stutter or freak out or anything like that. And there was a lot of kids in my platoon who, the second a drill instructor would get in their face, they would immediately either just focus all their attention on the drill instructor or they would just freeze up.
Yeah, and you definitely see that a lot when people kind of lose their shit. And it's rather amusing when people freak out.
They break bearing a lot. We had this one kid who every time, like when you're getting IT'd, or it's called DEs, developmental exercise. I mean, it's all scheduled, but it's when like you're online, and either your senior drill instructor or your heavy hat will walk up and down the highway and just make you do up downs for what seems like forever. But your drill instructors will just call random people out, and it doesn't matter whether they're actually doing something wrong or not. They'll just call people out just to create animosity between recruits. So people start freaking out at each other, and it breaks apart the whole team mentality, and people start freaking out at each other. And if everyone just stayed calm and did what they were told, we probably wouldn't have, had to take our blouses off and our trousers off 900 times before we hygiened.
Yeah, the one thing they're definitely good at is creating animosity between people.
Yes, definitely.
That's probably, I swear, it's probably a class they give them at drill instructor school.
Mm-hmm. And I think at drill instructor school they have to do some sort of comedy class. They have to, because the stuff that they do is just absolutely hilarious.
Well, I think they do a lot of that to prevent themselves from going insane, because the kill hats, the most junior guys, they work.
They get a lot of it, yeah.
Well, they're with you guys 24/7 for a good while. They're constantly up, and so I know a lot of them, like because my buddy's actually in Alpha Battalion, and so he's, if not your drill instructors, he was one of the 6 platoons in your series.
What? Do you know his name? What was his name?
Sergeant Flores.
He was my receiving drill instructor.
Was he?
Yeah, he was. He wasn't an active drill instructor while I was there, but my senior drill instructor worked with him a few cycles ago in Alpha Company, and then he was one of my receiving drill instructors. Yeah, was Sergeant Flores.
Okay, yeah. Well, I know he's getting towards the end of his time, so they probably set him there before he.
Well, they go to receiving, and when they're in between cycles, like they have like a 2-week break in between cycles.
Yeah.
So some of them will go to receiving during that time.
Fair enough. Let's see. Are you happy that you did it? Like, is there anything you regret so far about joining the Marine Corps?
Nothing. This is the greatest decision I made in my life so far, is to join the Marine Corps.
Excellent. Could you let them know what MOS you're going for?
Currently, I'm 03, which is infantry with an infantry option. So I'm just an 03 XX right now. And then next week, when I go to SOI ITB, I'll be assigned whether I'm a rifleman, a machine gunner, assaultman, LAV crewman, go to LAR and stuff like that. So just right now, it's infantry is all I know.
Is there a specific one that you'd prefer to get if you had a choice?
If I had a choice, I'd probably either just take rifleman or machine gunner. I think working with the LEBs and stuff would be cool, but I've always wanted to be boots on the ground.
Understandable. How was your family day and graduation? Was that? I know graduation's excellent, but was it pretty?
Graduation was awesome.
Was it pretty fun? You know.
Yeah, family day was a good time. It was just my mother and father that came out. So we went and we just kind of walked around, went to the Yellow Footprints, showed them my squad bay, how I lived, my rack and stuff like that. And then we ended up going to lunch, and it was kind of awkward because the restaurant we went to was like the senior enlisted, but on top of like officers restaurant kind of place. So I'm this brand new, pretty much boot, a total boot, PFC with my family, and my senior drill instructor's in there having lunch with his wife and kid. And there's like lieutenants, captains, lieutenant colonels all walking around this restaurant. So it was pretty awkward being in there. And then we went to, I showed them where like the Crucible and stuff happened. There's a big airfield there. Drove around there, and then there's this place called Elliott's Beach where you hike to all the time. It's kind of like a resting point for your hikes. We went there, showed them there's a lot of families going on there, and you watched other recruits go there going through BWT because they do the land nav portion of it at Elliott's Beach. And then by that time, it was time's up, so we drove back and said my goodbyes for the time being, and then did grad practice. Had chow, went back to the squad bay, got ready for graduation the next day, and then graduation came, and you wake up. Oh no, on family day, I believe, yes. Before you do family day, and you get released to your families, you have the motivational run. They say it's 3 miles, but it's not. It's really quick because you're so motivated because you're screaming cadence and stuff like that. It goes by quick. But that's just a short little run, and then you change over, and then you go to the all-weather training facility and get released to your families after a whole ceremony. Or if you have anyone that's being naturalized, like if they're becoming U.S. citizens through the Marine Corps, they will get naturalized at that ceremony and get their certificate saying that they're actual U.S. citizens now, and then you get dismissed to your families. And then graduation, it's pretty early. It's like pretty much just breaks. You get marched around the parade deck. Your like company high PFT gets as an award. The honor grads of each platoon, which is usually the guide, or it is the guide, gets their awards. The company high marksman gets his award, and then you get dismissed, and then you go home.
Awesome. Are you so far? Are you enjoying leave? I know you only have a couple more days.
Yeah, I leave Monday, but so far it's been fairly enjoyable. I helped out my recruiters a lot, just because. I mean, I wasn't asked to. I volunteered to go help them out at high schools. I went to my old college, went there for a little bit, and then went to the mall. I pretty much just like getting dressed up in the dress blues, walking around showing off what I've earned.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, is there any advice or anything that you would want to give to anyone who's getting ready to go to boot camp or who's maybe thinking about going to boot camp?
Well, advice if you're leaving for boot camp is mentally prepare yourself. Definitely, because boot camp, it's not all that physical, because it's not constant physical. But when it is physical, it's extremely physically demanding, but it's not every day. When you do PTs, it's all individual effort, so it's all how much you put into your physical exercise at boot camp is what you're going to get out of it. But mentally, boot camp is mainly mental. They're trying to get you into that mental state of coping with stress and stuff like that. So mentally prepare yourself for hardship and stressful environments, and just understand that they're doing it. There's a reason for they're doing it, whether they're just trying to waste time because you get back from chow hall early before you can hygiene, or they're just doing it because they literally just want to have fun with you and just elevate the stress level. but do everything you do at boot camp, do it with speed, volume, intensity. I'm sure everyone's heard that. That's thinking about it, speed, volume, intensity, but it's so true. If everyone in your platoon screams as loud as they can all the time, you don't get messed with as much because the drill instructors will understand that you're getting squared away. I mean, if you do everything quickly, the drill instructors understand that you're getting it, so they won't mess with you as much. I mean, obviously it's their job to mess with you and create stress. That's what they're going to do, but they're not going to do stupid games like throwing your boot, like your left boot to the right and your right boot to the left, and then mixing them all up, and then having you spend your hour free time every night trying to remake labels and find your boots. And then just the intensity, just always be intense about what you're doing and have confidence in the things you do. No matter whether you're wrong or right, just have confidence in what you do because that's what they're looking for. Don't be timid and shy because they'll eat that up. If someone's weak, they're gonna find it. And if you walk around like you're talking about what you're talking about, what you know when you're talking about, or you think you know what you're talking about, they'll pick up on it and they won't mess with you as much. They'll correct you if you're wrong, but if you do it with confidence, they're not gonna yell at you all that much, as much. If you're thinking about going or about joining any branch, especially the Marine Corps, think about like the benefits. Like right now, do you have a paycheck every 2 weeks? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you eat 3 meals a day that you don't pay for? Or do you have health care that's guaranteed? Do you have dental and stuff like that? Just the amount of benefits that can come with being in the military is outstanding, and I don't have to worry about a paycheck coming in for the next 4 years of my life because I'm guaranteed a paycheck every 2 weeks. And then the pride, just knowing that I'm doing what less than 1% of the United States is willing to do is pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Well, man, I definitely appreciate it. You guys, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I doubt the PFC here will have much time considering he's leaving to MCT, or ITV rather, to respond. But if you do get the chance, if you can hop on a computer and respond to questions by all means. But I know you're going to be a little busy for the next couple months.
I'll have my phone, and I can't use it in the field obviously, but I'll have it on weekends and in the nights unless I'm in the field. I'll have my phone on me, so I have the ability to communicate. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to contact me via Twitter. That'd be the best way.
Okay, and I'll link your Twitter account in the description as well, so they can hit you up that way.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next one. Semper Fi.